Hello guys, my name is Rudo and welcome or hopefully welcome back to my YouTube channel. When the year started, like everyone with New Year's resolutions, I was very optimistic and hopeful about how I'll be consistent on this channel. However, life has been lifing. Motherhood and work have been hectic, so I haven't had the time to make videos. However, I am really excited to be back in front of the camera, back in front of you guys again, and really to make this content that I really like making. So in today's video, I'm going to be reflecting on my use of childcare in the UK over the past 9 months, so that if maybe you're looking to get into childcare, like into getting a nursery for your child or use of childminders, or maybe you are weighing your options, reevaluating your choices, maybe my experience can give you a few nuggets that you can use to inform or reinforce your decisions. So yeah, let's get right into it. So my baby went to nursery in September when I started work. That's when she started doing 2 days, and then now since January when I started working full-time, she's also Monday to Friday full-time at nursery. And then I've also used Childminders. This is a benefit from my employer where I get 10 days a year, so 5 are free and then 5 are subsidized. So the first thing that I will talk about is the cost of nursery, which is it's expensive. So outside like the core bills of maybe mortgage, nursery is like one of the highest costs, that monthly costs that we would have as a household. So it is really something that you need to consider before you get into it. So when she was going for 2 days, we used to pay like $900, $800 to $900, 900 pounds. And now with full-time, we are now eligible for funding. So for the 30-hour funding, I made a full video on that, so please watch that if you want the details of how that works. So we've got 30-hour funding, and the cost of it is like almost similar to what we're paying for 2 days for the full-time after funding. So really good, but it's still expensive. So yeah, it's expensive, but honestly taking care of a child is a lot, so I honestly think that is worth it. It's just that it is expensive. So the second thing that I'll talk about is the quality of care at nursery, which is, I think it's really good. I was very hesitant, and I know that as a mom, if you've got your baby, you would be hesitant to send them to nursery. She was 9 months old, and I felt like she was still too young. She wasn't walking yet, she was still crawling. We just introduced her to like real solid food, so I really had mental struggles with coping to the fact that I really didn't have a choice but to send her to nursery. But all I'll say is, especially in the baby class, I could see the level of care that my child got, and I was really happy to see that she's really looked after, she's really cared for, and that really made me feel better about the situation. Of course, there are there can be issues here and there, which I'll discuss at the end. I am going to summarize the challenges, but I would say the quality of care from a nursery is good. As long as you really choose a nursery that you're comfortable with, you can see that the people are really passionate about taking care of children, and you see in how they take care of other people's children. You look at the ratios as well, the number of kids in the class and all those things. They are really important. So for example, in her baby class, there were just 9. At most there were 9. Some of them were part-time and some of them were full-time, but at like the most capacity there would be 9 in their class, which is a number for me that I was comfortable with. That at least that she will always have the attention that she needs, as opposed to maybe a bigger room where maybe there'll be 20 or so. So for me that was very important. The second thing I'll talk about is the child's development, which is they really grow up fast at nursery. And I think some of it is because, they are amongst their peers. So for example, my child was really hesitant to start walking. She was scared of walking. I think she was scared of falling. And we used to try to get her to do it like at home. But when she went back, because this was like through the December holiday, right? And so when she went back to school and she tried, around amongst her peers and stuff like that, her development was faster, when she was doing it nursery than at home. I guess seeing other babies of her age doing it sort of gave her the confidence that she can do it. So you can see it even in the motor skills, the language skills, they really grow quickly, and they are more independent in terms of trying to do things themselves, having the confidence to do certain things. They really get that confidence there. And then again, the convenience with work. So they run from 8 to 6, which gives us enough time to drop her off, concentrate on work, and then to come back and pick her up after work. So it's really like that fixed schedule can give you the stability for you to plan your work. So for example, if I'm supposed to go to work twice a week, I can really plan around that, because I'm sure that she's going to be well taken care of at nursery. So I think those are the main things that I considered, and so overall I've been happy with nursery. However, it is not without its faults or its challenges, right? So one of the biggest challenges is that the first months you will get sick. So this one, yeah, and that's just it, because they're going to be many babies coming from different homes, and so there'll be many bugs that will come. And some of the weird and frustrating things is that their immune system builds up so quickly that sometimes, like in 2 days, she gets a flu and it clears. But the moment it catches on to your parents, you will be sick for like a week. So yeah, the first days were really rough, especially because she started in winter time. Like, so winter time, as you're getting into winter time, that's like peak season for colds and flu. So you really have to have your vitamins, get a flu shot if you can, because yeah, you will get sick. And then when your child is sick and maybe they're really sick, then they cannot go to nursery. So again, there's a period of transition for both of you, for all of you as a family, because you might be too sick to work, your child is there, so now you can't work because they're there as well. So it's a period of transition, which can be rough for the first few months. So you really need like flexibility in your job to be able to care for yourself and care for your child through those periods, because they will be sick and you will be sick. So that part, I think the first few months, they are really tough. And for me at first, I really thought this was not working, and I started thinking, can I find alternatives? What am I going to do? Because I felt like it's really not working. She's sick every other day. I'm sick every other day. And I was really demoralized by that. So it was really rough and tough for me at some point. But now that I've come out on the other side of it, I've realized that, okay, it's not getting into summer, so it gets better. And also I realized this was like the first phase where she's really getting into a new environment, and it's a new system for us as well. So it was really a transition period. So you really need some support in that time, and not just like from yourself. Like if you've got family, that's the time where even if you do have nursery, you might just need extra support, and support from work as well, that as a family you're going through this transition and it's not easy. So that's the other thing that I would just say. And then the last thing that I'll talk about is that it's you need to still be very present, because if not, your child can pick up some odd habits, or they can pick up some some of the things that other children are doing, or your child can be the one going with those habits. So if you've got maybe some bad language that you say, some of the things that you do, your child like children, I believe they will be like a blank canvas when they come, when you have a baby, and then they start soaking up all those things that you do at home, all those things that you watch TV. Like, for example, for now we actually really try to censor everything that we watch, because you never know, they will be listening, they'll pick it up, and then suddenly you hear your child saying this bad language. So it's very important to still be present. And if there are certain things that you still want to reinforce, so for example, I really want my child to speak our native language, Shona, and because she spends 8 hours in nursery, it is very easy for English to just be the sole language that she knows and understands. So now I have to make extra conscious effort for her to hear Shona. And remember, it's just the three of us in our household. So at home we speak in Shona solely, and then when I'm on video calls with our families, we try and get them to speak to her in Shona so that she understands. So again, that's something that need to be very conscious and intentional about. So that's been my experience with nursery. It's good, but it doesn't come without its own challenges, and choosing the nursery that you are sending your child to is very, very important, because they are going to be very essential in molding your child. So they need to be like, you need to be comfortable with that space that your child is going to be in. So the next one that I'll talk about is a childminder. So basically how a childminder works is that it's someone who is trained and accredited. I don't remember the accreditation thing, but I'll look it up. And so you will go with your child to their home, and so their home will be set up in such a way that they can take care of your child. So the childminder that we use, she doesn't prepare food, so we like give her the food, and then if there's anything specific that you want, you can also tell her as well. So I think I really liked it because the childminder is like a walking distance away, and it's like a backup option. So for example, when my child was doing part-time but I had to maybe go to work and do something like that, it was a good backup option. And the childminder was also like Black African. Actually, yes, he's Black African, and so my child quickly took up to her as well. So that's another thing which maybe if it's important to you, for your, maybe for example, if she had been Zimbabwean or she could speak Shona as well, then would have been even nicer as well to have that. So there's that option that if you get a childminder who has got some of these things or these values, or if it's language thing that you want your child to learn, then you can do that. In terms of cost, I've heard it's cheaper, but I use the subsidized version, so I don't really know how much it costs, but I've heard that it's cheaper than nursery. I think, would I use childminder on a full-time basis? I would say no. I trust the childminder that my child goes to, but she is endorsed by my employer. She is part of a very reputable organization, so that's sort of one of the main reasons why I chose her. And so I don't know other childminders. Like I don't know if I would just then trust someone else, to take care of my child that way. So for me, that's just my reservation with childminders. In terms of my experience, it's been really good. She's been really good. I have got absolutely no complaints. If it was her and it was full-time, I would consider that, because she's really good and comes well endorsed and well recommended. So if you find such a childminder, definitely I would say you can go for it. And it really depends on your level of trust and your comfort as a family, as a mom. I haven't tried nannies. I know that they're probably way more expensive. I mean, the good thing is they would come to your home and it would still be like in your environment, which can also be a challenge if your child knows they're in the house and stuff. So that was the other thing why I didn't consider them. But yeah, those are the options. So yeah, guys, that's been my experience with nursery and childminders over the past few months. I will probably give you another update maybe end of the year, once we get back into the winter season, because right now the illness and stuff is subsided. Because honestly, there came a time when I really wanted to take it out of nursery because of the sickness and illness situation. But now I can see that the phase is past, and I think that we're in a better place. So I feel better about it, but I don't know yet. But for now, I'm sort of comfortable with that. If your child is in nursery or you're considering going to nursery, please let me know in the comments. Or if your child was once in nursery and you took them out, just share. And what other child options are you considering in the UK? Please do share in the comments. I will try to be better, I promise. Until next time, which is hopefully soon, it's bye for now.